For the past 6 months, several questions have risen around the topic of DEI, mainly being, what is DEI? Why does it matter? Why is it being removed? And why should people care? My name is Cameron Smith, and today we'll be doing a feature story on DEI programs around America being removed, the effects of opportunities being lost for underrepresented communities, and the testimonies from students, staff, and faculty at North Carolina A&T State University. Since January of 2025, several underrepresented communities have begun being affected by the gradual rollback of DEI programs. At the largest historically black university, North Carolina A&T, the Office of Intercultural Engagement noticed a quiet yet peculiar removal of certain verbiage from the website.
We did have to go through our website, our brochures, our material, and take out all that language that says, diversity, equity, inclusion, which has been a bit of a challenge. Like, how do you explain that we're open to all cultures without saying diverse cultures, right? I guess we could say all cultures, but, the language is so important. And so one of the gradual changes that we've had to make is getting used to not saying diversity.
While the office remains completely operational, the staff are still holding deep concerns about sudden changes in the near future.
It's almost sterilizing the process or the system where there's no benefit to and growth of being able to interact and have a healthy exchange of ideas by interacting with someone who is different, because that's what learning is all about, so.
One of the biggest changes from the executive order has been the sudden pulling of opportunities for students from marginalized groups and the loss of funding from the programs and universities that they attend.
I think it's really concerning, especially since we go to a HBCU, knowing that a lot of our schools are publicly funded, and since they're cutting that funding for a lot of the schools, some of the schools ain't gonna make it out of this little period.
Yes, I care. It is messed up to revoke it so suddenly, but I don't really care either because I haven't personally been affected. So I haven't had any real repercussion in my life, so I don't really mind myself.
That is crazy to think about, only because of how culturally in-depth HBCUs are. I personally came to HBCU because I wanted to be around more of minority, more black people, because I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood. So it's I didn't really get to experience the community of having, people that look like me. So
I'm a psychology major. I know here's not many psychology stuff for me to interact with lately, but it's funding going away. It's not gonna help that at all.
I came here to get my education and get a full 4 years of good, experiences and opportunities. And with him trying to cut it off, it just feels we really don't have anything left for us.
At the HBCU Media Conference in Atlanta, Georgia, students from schools nationwide and attendees from visiting companies talked about changes around how the topic of DEI is addressed and the importance of such events to professional work environments.
I live in Alabama, where a lot of these conversations started 9 months to a year before it was discussed on the federal level. And what we saw at that time was just a lot of people really pivoting and changing the names of organizations, kind of putting them within other departments and just recategorizing what they were already doing.
Despite these challenges, new safe spaces are being made every day for minority students outside of the DEI programs instituted by universities and the state.
I've met so many different people and made so many lasting impressions, which is what we need in this industry to thrive. And some of my peers said it best, it's for us and it's by us. That way we're able to help each other, considering all the, like I said previously, all the political turmoil that we've been in. We need each other now more than ever, and the HBCU Collective is helping with that tremendously.
Many Americans see the DEI changes as somewhat upsetting but virtually undetectable. But for those most affected by DEI, this is a battle that is unfortunately all too familiar. But because of this particular situation, some new questions have come to the forefront, mainly being, what is the future for diversity, equity, and inclusion? Will those words have a positive or negative connotation moving forward in American society? And more importantly, for minority communities that fall under the DEI umbrella, what is the plan moving forward now that there is less representation and resources in a society that has already repressed them for decades? Cameron Smith, signing off.